You are live. I am live. G'day. I will wait and hope this works. Radio. Hopefully everybody can get in. I will sit here and wait for just a minute, enjoying the beautiful weather outside. I have one viewer. Now, where is comments? I don't think we need a banner. Woohoo! Hey, Neil! First in the house tonight. How are you? G'day, Adrian. Okay, so we're live. We're just got to wait for Chris to jump in. Hello, Urban Prospector. Pitch up. That's Kempy. Haha, I'm getting you guys. All right, so now we'll just wait a little minute. I've sent the link to StreamYard straight across to Chris. So we just wait until he turns up. It shouldn't be too long anyway. So, g'day, D. Here we go. Dane. People are jumping on in. Hello from windy Wollongong. I'm in windy Ulladulla. Yep, we're windy here too. It is blowing a gale. My door here is literally doing this right now. Like it looks like it's about to blow in. My door does. G'day, Scott. G'day, Steve. How are you? Hey, Gary. The wind is causing interference. Yeah. The only thing is I don't know. You guys should be able to reply to each other's comments now.
Third time's the charm. We did it. We are so professional.
Oh, yes. I love StreamYard. StreamYard is amazing.
I love it. I'm going to have to get on this because this is stuff I want to do. But anyway, I'll figure that out for my show. I'll have a chat to you later.
Yeah, that's all right. I can give you any hints and tips and tricks you need to know.
All of them, please.
All right, so we've got a fair few jumping on at the moment. I don't know if you heard earlier that there will be somebody. I don't know how this is going to work now because there's a guy in here. He's going to give away something tonight. He's going to randomly.
His identity secret. He's like the Phantom or Frank Castle or Batman. He's just waiting in the wings for the prize.
It saves people bombarding him with 50 million questions trying to win something. Maybe, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's his random pick.
We've got a lot of names here, though. We got Neil and we got the Urban Prospector, and like there's potential for prizes all over the shop at the moment.
Yep. So I don't know how he's going to reply to somebody's comment though, because on Facebook you can reply to somebody's comment. Ben can't find us. Oh. How can't Ben find us? I put the link I sent to you, Chris, for my YouTube channel. I actually put it on the Facebook group as well.
Yeah. He'll find us. He'll be right.
He'll find us. Yeah. My YouTube channel isn't that hard to find.
There's now a third sense of direction because when as we've evolved as humankind, first it was out in the wilderness, and then we had to develop like in the city. I'm still really bad in the city. I get so lost. I could walk for kilometers in the bush with no map or anything and not get lost. But the second I go into a city, I get very confused. So I'm still learning that one. But now there's internet navigation, and people have got to learn that sense of direction for that.
Yeah. He's feeling the pressure. Ben still can't find us. He's feeling the pressure now. I tell you what, boy, I can go bush and I can find my way around I know which way the ocean is, the mountains, and I know north, south, east, west, and I'll get lost in city streets too. I'll be like, where am I now?
I got lost in a hotel. The last time I was in Melbourne, I got lost in a hotel. I turned out of my door and I just must have been on autopilot, and I turned the wrong way to go to the lifts, and I was right in the middle of the corridor, so it's a long walk either way. I got to the end, I was like, this is a fire exit door. Where are the lifts? I was so confused. It was so embarrassing. I'll just share that with a bunch of randoms.
Now, I don't know if you got to see, I think it was Lynn, who posted when you said, oh, I've got to go I haven't even gone to get makeup done yet, prepped for makeup. She posted a picture under your comments with her Batea pans, her new Batea pan.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yes.
She's done it right. It's fine. The trick with it is that you leave it on a low heat. So it's hot, but it's not like, blue flame going to get your whole pan cherry red hot. You just want it literally to turn blue. And the longer you leave it on that flame, the better the result is. It seems to penetrate a little bit deeper into the steel, so you get a lot longer use out of it before you have to reburn it. And then you just reburn it when it goes silver. So she's done it right.
Sweet. And for those of you who don't know what we're talking about the metal Batea pan, not the plastic one.
Don't burn your plastic pans, guys. Don't do that. If you do, don't blame us.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because she wanted to know that. You do have a question already, straight up from Andrew. He wanted to know, hey, Chris, what would you do if you get to the creek and it's flooding?
So that's all we've been dealing with all winter. It's one of my favorite times to prospect because it actually forces you to think. For a lot of Australians, we are dealing with creeks that have very low, no, or very little water. So you might be panning in puddles, you might be taking dirt off site to process, you might be processing dirt in just a stream. And when you do that, especially considering our weather patterns over the last sort of 20 years, it's been really dry and there haven't been that many opportunities to see creeks or rivers in full flood. Not like you've had 20 millimeters of rain and the creek came up this much and it flooded. We're talking full flood. So the last full flood we had was in 2017 and it knocked out a bridge. It got that high. And this is a creek that traditionally in summer is dry. So it's dry, maybe puddles, and through most of the year, the wet part of the year, it's only at the deepest, maybe up to your knees. So for it to knock out a bridge, it got up to 22 foot deep in places, and that's full-blown flooding. And that took me 6 months to relearn the creek, and it really opened my eyes to prospecting when you are not allowed to get into the main center of the creek where you would normally be working. And it gave me perspective, is that you shouldn't be looking at creeks how they flow today. You should be looking at creeks how they were flowing 10,000 years ago, 100,000 years ago. And you can see that, like little feeder gullies come in from the side, something Mick's been teaching me about the re-entrance. So you can actually see in feeder gullies where the creek, what level it came out to compared to where the base of it is now. And so in those high floodwaters, it gives you an opportunity to see that in action. So what you're going to find is that by watching the waters when you walk down the creek, you can kind of get a feel for, oh, maybe 10,000 years ago, this creek was 2 or 3 meters, not as deep. I lost the word there, but it's not as deep, right? So you can look down and go, yeah, there might have been 3 or 4 meters worth of soil and bedrock where the current creek bottom is. So I should be checking up on those banks, on those walls, looking for terraces, and also taking photos of areas where you spot back eddies and bubbles and slack water and whatnot. It's another thing we do because it means that you can go back in summer and it will look like the least obvious spot in the world. It'll just be a bunch of mud or mush or crap. It just won't look right. But because you've got those photos of a back eddy there, you'll dig there and you'll find gold. And it's where those people walk past. So prospecting during floods is the best time to go out because it's going to force you to think about where gold's dropping as opposed to you just going by what you've always done.
I love going to the creeks when they flood and actually watching where and how high the water flows and where the swirls end up swirling, and the flow moves differently compared to when it's lower lying. So I do love going to creeks as well and watching the same and just studying it, really.
And the other thing is, because generally speaking, none of us go out during the middle of the storm except for me and Mick that one time. That was the terrible idea. But so you don't go out in the middle, right? You go out when the weather clears up a bit and you can make it more comfortable for yourself. And what happens is in that time, the flash flooding recedes. But what it leaves behind is knocked over grass and flood debris and trees, and that tells you a true indication of the water depth. So you can go down and look for the pushed over grass, look for the fresh flood debris in there, and you'll find places that you didn't see underwater that you wouldn't normally expect, especially if your area hasn't flooded. If your area hasn't flooded since you started prospecting, you'll go out and see this pushed over grass in this offside channel that you never would have noticed before. And we were just working one of them a couple of weeks ago, and we're finding 50 to 100 specks a pan, and it's just on this gravel bar. It's a narrow little channel, and it looks no different to the whole gravel bar. And this is a huge gravel bar. And like the only reason we found it was because the grass was pushed over in that one line.
Yep, that's right. Just in case people aren't wondering, I've actually stopped the roll of comments. So the comments are still going on and they're still rolling, but I can't see comments down there. I've actually stopped it at a line, and I'll roll through it slowly because we do have questions, and that way I can try and get to as many questions as possible. So if somebody does say, hey, Nikki, and says something, don't think I'm ignoring you.
I'm going to go manage Fern for a second because she's starting a war with another dog. I'll be back.
Oh, we do need to see Fern, by the way. So yes, guys, if I am onto the questions, but I've stopped scrolling through at the moment. Holy, there now I've just accidentally put the questions down the bottom, and there is a lot of questions here.
She has no fear and all attitude, so she just starts fights.
Fern is very, very cute. Now I don't know what I've done, but I've mucked up all the questions because I've now, there we go. I do actually see JP from JP's Lawns and More from America. He's on now. I've just seen him. Also seen Getting Down and Dirty Prospecting.
Look,
and the Urban Prospector says, hey, Chris, where did the name vo-Gus come from? Oh, look at Fern.
Yeah, oh,
Fern.
it's corn. Yeah, some corn.
Oh, she wants corn. So where did the name vo-Gus come from? Oh.
It's a Hungarian pronunciation of my last name.
Fixed?
Fixed?
Oh, no. I just had somebody call me and now I can't hear you.
Oh, no. Well, I can hear you, so that's good.
If I listen very, very carefully. Tanner, pass me your earphones.
For the person that asked, yeah, it's a Hungarian pronunciation of my last name, which is vo-Gus, which is Lithuanian. So, yeah, it's just sort of, I took that opportunity to actually fit my name into it, well, my family name into it because of a few different reasons. And it's very tricky to pronounce the Lithuanian version of my last name. I can't pronounce it, and I'm not going to butcher it.
Any headphones?
Yeah. Is that good? Oh, yeah. Okay, that's breakfast here. Look.
There was a question, where is the puppy? G'day to the Opal Munters. Says g'day, g'day.
Is your sound fixed, Nikki? Is it fixed?
No, I literally can hear. Oh, really? So Tanner gives. Okay, I'm not a gamer, but Tanner is.
Oh, you are tonight. Look at that. Sexy AF.
Talk now.
Yeah. Is that better?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah. You never dropped off for me. So good. It's the night of bugs. This is why I put in my descriptions for my live streams that stuff is going to go wrong. This is Australian internet and not a professional setup, and we're all just going to have to deal with that. All right, you done?
It's because my sister rang me, and then literally you're like a whisper.
Whisper. What are you doing?
But now I can hear you, so we're good now.
Good, good, good. No more wars. No more food up here. Is that crumb? There you go. That one. Cool.
Dane says, do you always reach your new sites or do you sometimes wing it? Have you taken advice from old locals?
Yeah, so I started off being taught by a guy who immigrated to Australia quite a long time ago, and he immigrated over here primarily because he likes gold prospecting and doing stuff like that. He's in his mid-70s now, and he taught me pretty much 100% of the basics and also how to think about gold, and so that I was able to develop my own set of skills. Um, so that foundation was integral. I don't think I'd be where I am today without his mentorship, because finding the answers to what I wanted to know at the start online was next to impossible. The advice that was out there was so generalized, it was of almost no value. And so his mentorship changed that. Then, as time's gone on, I have really focused on developing my channel around answering the questions I couldn't get answers to online. So what was happening was, like, I would want to know, like, what a bench deposit was or where gold forms in quartz, and all I would get was one of two things. I get some layman's terms. So some prospector would explain it, but explain it in such a way that there was nowhere near enough detail for me to be able to grasp the concept. Or I'd have the opposite end of the scale where, like, an exploration geologist or whatever was explaining the same thing, but using words I had no comprehension of. And I had to sit there with, like, a thesaurus looking these things up to understand what he was talking about. And so I set out to make the channel more about focusing on experimenting and sharing those experiments. So answering my own questions. I was just going out and doing it and coming up with my own conclusions. And so now when I go out to new areas and new spots, I just take that sort of knowledge along with me. I used to research spots. I used to spend a lot of time on Trove. I used to spend a lot of time reading old newspapers, mining reports, and things like that. And they were invaluable, and they still are. But I've got to a stage now where I will literally just go for a drive in the right kind of areas and have a look, because I've got to a stage where my in the field skills and my background knowledge is sufficient enough to be able to just sort of eyeball an area once I know the region has gold. So that research more or less now doesn't take me to a spot, it takes me to an area. And then I do all the on the ground searching myself. And that's what I've been trying to tell people now for a number of years, that there's no point in me telling you where a spot is because I don't know. Because if I knew, I'd be working the spot, right? That's the thing. So it's literally about figuring out where the gold is in general, and then just going out with a pan and having a look.
Nice. Just going to quickly bring this up. Wade Henschel. Apparently, you've been named. You've won an Opal prize. So he's won an Opal or something.
Yeah.
So, yep. So Wade, either, or I don't know if you can contact the boys or contact me after the show. You have won an Opal prize.
Yeah.
He is here in the comments.
He didn't say you were giving away an Opal. He just said a prize. Oh, man. Far out. Come on. Holding out.
The prize is a couple of opals. I don't know exactly what or how many, so I can't say opals, whatever. Yes, but that's the prize. Chris, have you found rich enough ground to warrant a claim? Gary wants to know.
Easy. Yeah.
Yep.
There's a couple of areas that I'm working. I'll change that sentence. There's a couple of areas that I was working that were giving really good grades. So 1.3 to 1.5 grams per cubic meter of alluvial wash. And we estimated the deposit to be about 150 meters long.
I can hear Fern's got her squeaky toy.
She has been a rat bag for the last couple of days. She's doing this because I'm ignoring her. Hey.
You did a video the other day. I watched it this morning. I was watching one of your videos, and all you could hear was Fern chomping on her squeaky toy the whole way through your video.
I'll trade you all for this. Okay, we put landmine over there. We've got this. Your eyes are so stupidly droopy. I know you're ready for bed, and you were doing this to be a rat bag.
Yep.
And it's 4. It's like 8. Yeah, so it's 8 o'clock at night. She's normally like fast asleep, but the last couple of days she's just been pushing my buttons. But yeah, that other question, yeah, we have found spots. So alluvial wise, we've estimated this deposit. It's going roughly 1 to 1.5 grams per cubic meter of soil, and that is a pretty decent grade considering that most people in like the Yukon and whatnot are operating mining operations on about $14 a meter. We're sitting at about $100 to $125 a meter, and the other hard rock side of it, we've found a couple of deposits that are rich, but on the surface they're very weathered, so it's hard to get good grades, like to get consistent grades on that. So the possibilities there, some of them are showing 5 ounces a ton, but at the lower end we're only getting 1.5 grams a ton. So it just sort of depends, I think, on if we wanted to take the gamble on hard rock. The problem with all claims when it comes to Australia is that, or in Victoria anyway, the alluvial claims are going to be like you're literally looking at Nikki, don't worry, I've got you. I'll just keep talking. Alluvial claims, you're looking at a minimum of 100 grand to put in. It's about 25 grand just to put in your permits and your requests. And then on top of that, you've got reclamation fees and you've got other licensing and permitting fees around water. So you're looking at probably $100,000 to permit one of these areas. And so I would likely make my money back, but that's not what I'm interested in. And I don't want to go through the stress and headaches of setting something like that up for no gain for me, like financially, yeah, but that's not what I'm interested in. Like I'm more than happy doing what I'm doing at the moment and making the money that I'm making. I don't need to go and get, dozens of ounces a day of gold to satisfy me in that respect. So it's just not that interesting to me. I love to run an excavator for like a day, but I don't want to do it for a full-time job.
Yeah. Now, I did drop out there for a minute. I don't know if you noticed.
Oh, yeah, I noticed. You disappeared. I just kept talking. I glossed over it. If you don't draw attention to these things, people will think it's just a cut and a transition. It's fine.
All right, so we've got a friend from Russia, the Russian digger.
The Russian digger?
In one of the videos, hang on. Oh, my friend from America, in one of the videos, he was washing rocks, found a stone in it. What stone was it? If it's one of the American guys, I don't know which one, so I won't be able to answer that question.
Yeah.
But because vo-Gus isn't American, he's an Aussie.
Definitely very Australian, promise.
Yes. Andrew says, your videos have done so much for so many people, and with how you explain things to us. So there's not a question, but a nice just comment.
I'd comment on it though. It's just that my channel is very selfish in a lot of ways. It's a lot of self-serving in terms of the videos. Like I said at the start, it was about creating content to answer questions that I had. And sharing just seems to be like a natural progression for me when it comes to these sort of things. I don't know why. It's just it feels important to share some ideas, and I say that with a really we're going to go down a deep, dark philosophical hole if you'd like to. Ideas and knowledge and information are really important, especially today, especially with what's going on in terms of our connectivity. We have, at no other time in recorded human history, had so much ability to share information. And with that comes a great responsibility to keep the information you share honest and do it with integrity, because as it is, there are so many people in this world who have come up extremely disadvantaged and extremely. I'm trying to be kind here, because I understand that we are extremely lucky here in Australia and many other parts of the Western first world developed world. And so there are people doing jobs that we would not consider good or nice or proper or kind right across the world, but it comes from a place that is not like our own. We haven't experienced the level of poverty and hardship that they have. And so when I say this, is that the information that we're sharing is important to so many people, and if you do it wrong, you can really screw these people. I have a very large following in Indonesia, the Philippines, India, Brazil, Pakistan, and a couple of other Southeast Asian countries, and it's only getting bigger. And that's why I started including sort of words and hashtags and whatnot in my videos relating back to those countries. A lot of people have been asking about that. And the free share of information is important for them, because unlike me, who wakes up in the morning in a beautiful house and I've got fantastic weather and I've got free healthcare and I've got food and I got everything I could ever want at my fingertips when I want it. I can summon someone right now from the internet to deliver food to my door. Like, that's how easy I've got it. I don't have to get up, and I could have McDonald's 10 feet away from me. Someone will bring it to me. These people don't have that luxury. They're getting up and going and mining gold just so they can buy a bag of rice, some cooking oil, some beans to sustain their family. It's literally life and death for them. And whilst we can talk about how we could bring people out of poverty and all that sort of stuff, the fact is that these people are just surviving and they're making the best of a shitty situation. And so the information that I put out there at the start was all self-serving. It was all to answer the questions that I had. What it has developed into, especially in the last 12 months, has been a recognition that this information is valuable to people for reasons far beyond what we normally comprehend here in the West. And I'm really trying to make it, that's what inspired part of that series, From Nothing, like where I've gone out with nothing more than a plastic scoop and then just a dinner plate. And I'm showing how to just sluice using a river, right? You don't even need a mat. You just need a river. You could just do it with that. And that's what it's about, because these people don't have anything, right? I had a message today from a guy saying, I live in a gold prospecting area and I don't have any money for my family. How can I do this with nothing? And so I sent him links to those videos. It's like, this is how you start. You need a plastic bottle and a plate and you can go and find gold. And so that's what I'd say about that comment. So I get that it's I get that a lot of people feel like I've given them something here in the West, but I really, really want to just impress that there's a lot more of my channel going on in the background than what a lot of people would first assume, just based off my content. So yeah, anyway, that's my ramble.
That's your ramble. Kylie Martin wants to know, what is the best thing you have found besides gold?
Found two people having sex on a swing in a park once. Honestly, that was probably the best because it was freaking funny. There was a huge festival at the start of 2020 before all the lockdowns and stuff, and COVID was a thing that was overseas. And so there's a huge festival, and I got really excited. I got my metal detector, and I hadn't been out in ages, and it was just starting to cool down. Like the summer temperatures had dropped off. So I was going out there, and I was like, oh, I'm going to rack up like heaps of $2 coins and stuff. This is going to be mad. So I pull up. It's like 10 o'clock at night, and I get out of the car. And when I pulled up, there was a Hilux next to me, and I was like, it's a bit weird for someone to be down here at this time. I thought maybe there's another detectorist around. I look up and I saw this couple on a swing set, and I was just like, oh, okay, like whatever. I didn't see them. Like I saw that it was a couple, but I didn't pay attention. And I got out of the car, and I'd been vlogging the whole time on my camera, and I got out of the car and I started to get my gear ready, and I looked up because I heard some noise, just like some out of place noise, and the couples are pulling their pants up, and she's like popping her tits back in, and like, and they just like sheepishly got in the car and drove off, and I was like, woo! So yeah, probably that. That was my favorite story I think that I found anywhere. But if
So
it was an item,
we're actually lucky that my channel is not made for kids and it's adults only, so we're good.
Okay, cool. If it was an item I found, or my dad gave me, he prospected the same area as I prospect, and he was always alluding to old gold mines up in his old prospecting spots. And he'd never tell me where it was, ever. He just wouldn't tell me. And it used to drive me batty. And one day he just sent me a text message out of the blue with a pin on Google Maps, which was a feat in itself. The fact that he managed to pin on Google Maps and then figure out how to like text message that to me is a woo. So I got that, and he goes, that's where I found that nugget. And I was like, oh my God. So I called Mick up, and we went up there the next day and we trekked through the bush. And Mick was the one that found the reef at the start. He found that. And then I followed the mines up to the top, and I found my dad's old pan and his shovel up against the tree, where he cracked the shits with it back in like the early 80s and just left it there and walked out, never went back for it. Yeah, so that would probably be my favorite item find.
There you go. Mandy wants to know, question for Chris, how hard is it to get or make a claim here in Australia?
Hard. I only know about Victoria. I don't know about any of the other states. But in Victoria, hard. Really, really hard. You're not going to get one. That's the short answer. Unless you're equipped with hundreds of thousands of spare dollars to throw around, you're not getting a claim in Victoria. That's probably the easiest way I can put it. Yeah. And elsewhere around Australia, I'm sure it's easier. I think WA's got a pretty straightforward and easy permitting system, but I don't know anything about it.
Yeah. I swear my door's going to blow in, eh? The wind out there is hectic.
At least it'll be recorded. Like if your house blows away on a live stream, it's probably going to be a viral video. You'll have that. Like it's not much, but it's a silver lining.
Thanks. Now I've lost where the comments are because it all just went. Diggers Down Under, the comic chef. That would be Mr. Neil.
Mr. Neil.
Mr. Neil. Chris and Nikki. I find that listening and learning from you guys, Trove and so much more, is invaluable, but what? As far as location, you must find your own advice, follow your own advice on this is most of value. Oh, there you go. So he's just, yeah, that's just his comment.
Okay. Are you? You are tired. You can go to
Well,
bed.
these things, you guys are good for our mental health.
Well, we try. Sometimes I'm not very good for my own mental health. So if you take me sparingly, like one capsule a day max, and don't overdo it.
We got Southern Cross Prospecting too. He's here tonight. He's in Bali.
Ooh.
Mr. Southern Cross Prospecting. He's been over there for a while. He's actually does a subscriber shout out, and he actually does a whole show on promoting other YouTube channels. So you should
Awesome.
go and check out his too. He's
Very
pretty cool.
I want to,
And
yeah, I'm going to have to check that out because if you've got Indonesian gold prospecting stuff up, I want to watch it for sure. I really do want to watch that. I've found that incredibly interesting over the last couple of weeks, just watching these guys overseas and how they do it. It's unreal.
yeah, he's been doing the beaches along there, which are now empty because
Yeah,
nobody goes to Bali at the moment. So he's just had free reign on the beach with his puppy dog
that's all right.
to go and check it out. Where are we? We're gonna lose. Sorry, I now I've got to catch up with questions.
It's fun that it's fun watching someone else struggle with the comment section, not having to do it myself. It's great.
Thanks.
You're being trouble, Mickey. You are. Yeah, you're just staring at Spot. Spot doesn't like you. He doesn't. He's gonna growl at you. Promise.
Sorry, I'm reading the comments, but I'm trying to go through them for questions.
Yeah, leave a question mark at the end, guys. That's the easiest way to do it.
That'd help, or a couple of them.
Yeah.
Still waiting on your 100 pan challenge. Sounds like a good get together after lockdown. Are you doing the 100 pan challenge?
I already have.
You already have?
Video up. Yeah, I already put that video up where I did 100 pans. It was never going to be a meetup thing. Just prior to lockdown, I was in the stages of organising a meet and greet, but then lockdown happened. So pretty much as soon as it gets lifted, at least in Victoria, I'm going to probably organise a meet and greet. Ideally, I'd have New South Wales, but with the way things are going, I don't think the borders are going to open up anytime soon. So it'll just have to be Vic for now and then do another one either later in the year or next year when they decide that we can move around again. Yeah, so that'd probably be the closest to 100 pans sort of Pioneer Paulie version of a challenge. No one's done it yet. No one's taken me up on my challenge. I put up that, come on, guys, do 100 pans. I did 100 pans. You can do 100 pans.
You go, yeah. I'll have a look. I'll look into it.
Good. I want at least one person to try and match it.
What pan did you use? The Garrett or the Batea?
Yeah.
I don't have one.
Fern, leave it.
I've got the Garrett Super Sleuth. I don't have a Batea.
What?
Pearlsy, she's eating something she's not meant to.
Okay. Yeah, we have two types of spiders in our house. Jumping spiders, which are great. I love them. And the other one, which is whitetails. But luckily for me, she had a cricket.
I must be up to the questions where we're talking about the people in the park, because this one says, I hope you asked them if they needed anything. The swing and ring. I know where I'm up to.
I mean, the only thing I could really offer them is that my pinpointer has a vibrate function, and it's always covered in dirt though, so it probably wouldn't be great.
Oh, there's so many questions, and I'm so far behind. Sorry, guys. I will get through them pretty quickly.
Speed read. You can do it.
No. Hey, here we go. Found a question. Please put question marks. Hey, Chris, how do you split your gold with the people you go out prospecting with?
So it depends on the day and what we're doing. Generally speaking, we all do our own thing. So we just keep the gold we find, right? Like, but if it's a day like you would have seen in one of my recent high banking videos where Mick Gadsey and I went out and prospected an area, and we all work together, we just split it equally. So we got 0.8 or something that day. So we end up with about a point, just under a 0.3 each. And yeah, none of us really care about the gold. It's something that's hard to get through to people, especially if you've just started prospecting. It's like a mind blowing idea that gold prospectors don't care about the gold. We care about finding it, and we care about being in the bush. So when it comes to the day's total, it's fun to poke fun at your mates who didn't find as much as you or whatever, right? But it's not about that. Like I went out today and I was scouting a location for a future video, and I walked away with maybe 10 specks of gold, and that was it. And I was happy. I had a really good day. It was an awesome hike, and I got some good photos, and I had a little bit of a play in the creek, and that's what it was really about. So when it comes to splitting gold, it's usually just, even if we all work together, or otherwise we keep whatever we find, and we share spots. So it's sort of like if Mick finds a spot, he'll take us to it. If I find a spot, I'll take them to it. If Gadsy finds a spot, so we all just share that information.
Yeah. I'm having a laugh here right now because, okay, so the boys do a live on Sundays, and they do a live auction for opals, and they call themselves the Opal Munters.
Okay.
So they're on, for anybody wanting to know, Facebook, and it's Treasures Unearthed, and they go live. They do this thing. They actually have, it's a old copper teapot.
Okay.
They've written a question here, says, will you both do teapots? Teapots is they actually have an old teapot, and they put their bourbon in it or whatever, and they drink it from the teapot. So I know what the teapot is.
You'll have to get me on one of my allowed to have a splurge weeks. But yeah, sure, why not?
Sweet.
I limit my drinking. I've learned from much experience that it's not worth me doing it every week or whatever. Maybe once a month I'll break out a few and have some nice relaxing evening with the dog. That'll be it.
Blake Mitchell, Blue Dogs Prospecting.
Oh, Blake, what's going on, bro?
Yeah, he said, I'll do the 100-pan challenge.
Good, do it. And then upload it and tag me. I want to see it. I want to see other people do it, because I was wrecked. Like 100 potato pans is a lot of dirt. It's a lot. It was a mountain, and it was hard, and I was very, 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 very sore by the end of it.
Pansies. Scott said, question 100 pans in one sitting. Yeah. Okay, explain to the people that don't know what 100-pan challenge is. Oh, Fern.
Okay, so Pioneer Paulie did a video where he had 100 Garrett pans, and he got a bunch of people to help him do 100 pans of dirt. So he had like 10 people or something with him, and they all did like 10 pans each, and so they did 100 pans, and they saw how much gold they got at the end of it on one of Dan Hurd's claims. And I looked at that and I was like, well, that's great, but that's not really doing 100 pans. That's doing 10 pans and then having a bunch of other people help you do the other 90. So I was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do 100 pans on my own. And then, because I'm a typical Australian shit stirrer and overachiever, I guess, I was like, I'm not going to do Garrett pans. No, none of that piddly Garrett 1.5 shovels and the thing's full. I'm going to do a potato pan. And a potato pan holds about twice the amount of dirt as what a Garrett pan has in it, the full-size ones from Placid Designs anyway. And so I did it, and it was brutal. It's really hard. It was a lot of dirt to pan. Like high banking, that would have only taken maybe an hour. to get through it, but it took probably 4.5 or so to get through all of it, but that included collecting it. So I had to, people were saying I was double handling the dirt, but they don't understand walking, which is that I was using a bucket and I'd fill the bucket up and I could get basically, I think it was 2 pans out of one bucket or 2.5 pans out of one bucket. So I took the dirt from where we were working it and just stacked it up right next to the creek. So that means that I only had to do 30% of the walking back and forth with weight, as opposed to having to get out of the creek, walk over to the area, get the pan of dirt, lift that heavy pan and walk back to do it every single time. I just stacked it all up in one area. So I saved myself 70% of the walking I would have had to have done. And if I had to have done that walking, which was about 15 to 20 meters to where we were getting the dirt, it would have killed me because of the weight. Just and it's not even ground, right? You're not walking on flat concrete. You're walking on rocks and boulders and all that sort of stuff. It's just, yeah. So again, this comes back to the magic of video. What you see on video is like this much of what happens in the day and the pre-thought that goes into doing stuff like this. So you see the people that are like, oh, you double-handled the dirt. It's like, all right, man, you come out here and do it.
Yeah. Well, it's like when I take videos on group camp trip. If somebody falls over in front of me, I'm using that video. I'm using it. If
it's happening.
I'll keep all of that. You fall over in the creek and flow down the river with the water, I'm keeping that video too.
Yeah.
They all get pre-warned.
It's a necessary thing, man. Like I do the same. I've always got a camera on or near me or close. And so, yeah, I think the hardest thing though, when you're working with other people that haven't been around the camera for a while on my end, just with the way I have to put it together is stopping them talking. I got mates that like to talk, right? Which is no issue when there's no camera on, but when you're trying to get something to just say something or you're trying to get a piece of B-roll, especially considering I do a lot of ASMR work, that like you'll get these snippets of people in the background, you'll just hear, oh, fuck that, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, oh, okay, get rid of that clip, next.
Yep. Sometimes I'll ask Tanner a question and he'll trip over while he's walking towards me, answering my question. And then when he trips over, he says, fuck. And it's like, delete.
Yeah, no, sorry, delete.
Child did not say that. Maddie Hahn wants to know.
That could be a podcast. That's a great
Maddie
name
Hahn
for a
wants
podcast.
to know.
Yeah, dude, start a
That'll
podcast.
Be a great podcast.
Yeah.
Maddie, we want a podcast. Maddie wants to know, are you wearing pants?
I'm not now.
That's a yes. But then the rolling bit that came after that was, let me see, the Opal Munters. Maddie Hunt, no, I'm not. I'm not, Maddie, Steve says as well. So by the sounds of it, a few people aren't wearing pants tonight.
There's a lot of pantsless Aussies out there. That's all right. That's normal.
There is. Oh, it's disappeared again. Where'd we go?
I love chat. Just screenshot.
It just goes, see you later. I'm an old timer. Just 40 pans will do me.
You should have old bull energy. That's how that works. Once you get your old timer card, that means you can go all day for as long as you need to go and show up all the young guys.
Okay, now I'm back up. Are you wearing pants again? I'm back up there. I'm back to that spot.
Okay.
Tony says, yeah, always great to get into the bush. The satisfaction of finding gold where you thought it was is the best. Plus, I don't find so much biggie, I don't find much, so no biggie. He doesn't find much.
I get that too. That's the whole point of it, right? A lot of people think that we go out and we find gold every single time we go out, but most of the trips are prospecting trips, just looking for it. And so that's that drive to go out and find stuff. It's not just about going out and getting gold, it's about the search, because if you got gold every day, it would be great for the first month, and then it'd be really boring. It'd just be another job.
Mandy says, pants? Who said anything about wearing clothes? I got the heater on. Actually, I got the heater on too. It's getting hot in here. I need to turn the heater off.
Mandy's a loose unit. Mandy's just like, woo!
Neil says, Chris almost got me on camera falling in a creek.
Almost.
Almost?
Almost. Yeah, almost. I remember that. Poor Neil.
Wait, you're not meant to find everything you dig. There you go. No belt. So obviously I have missed a few questions that are up further. But I've watched a few more of your latest videos out and about. How is the new puppy finding the creek? Is she staying where she's meant to, or is she running away, or how is the challenge of trying to keep her still?
I had forgotten how much work Grizzly was when he was a pup. It's funny how time colors things with the glasses that you view it through. So I remember now quite vividly how much of a challenge it was to get Grizzly to stick around and do what he was meant to do, and behave and act appropriately, and teach them, right? They're kids. You got to make sure that they understand their place and their rules. Fern's no different. Now that she's vested too, she has a lot more responsibility in terms of her actions. So there's like legal repercussions for her stuffing up. And I have spent a lot of time with her, just hammering in the basics, and it's been challenging, but it's been fun as well. It's also been a great sort of mental exercise for me, because what it's doing is teaching me a lot more patience and a lot more understanding, and I'm having to learn to read not only a new personality, a new dog. I'm having to really control the way that I interact with her so that she gets the best outcomes in terms of her service dog training. So in the bush, there's stuff that, like, she's young, she's 8.5 months old, right? She's not old at all. She's got a long way to go. She's got a lot of growth physically and mentally left to do. And she's in a rat bag stage at the moment where she's pushing the limits. She's testing her boundaries, seeing what she can get away with and whatnot, which is not much, but she tries. And yeah, so right now I am developing both the skills personally for me to be able to teach her to do what she needs to do. She's pretty good. I'd say she's probably 60 or so % of the way to where I want her to be. And at the moment, we're really hammering in the training, place training. So she stays within a certain area, which is something new that we're bringing to the regime at the moment. So we've been lucky to be able to use mixed dog Zach to anchor her for a while, but now she's getting older to the point where she wants to run off and explore and do the stuff that she wants to do. So we've introduced a 7-meter lead, so she's on that, but we try and make that 7 meters that she's got really fun and engaging and interesting. So that's what I was doing today on the creek as well, which was just that she was tethered to a log. She has a huge range of motion, but I make sure that I interact with her and whatnot. And so hopefully we'll integrate her eventually to not having that lead on her unless we need to, and she should stick with us. But yeah. It takes time.
Plenty of all the time to train them.
Yep.
Maddie Hunt wants to know, are you still working towards a grizzly memorial?
Yeah, so yes, what can I say other than COVID has really stuffed a lot of stuff up. We have permission from the El Dorado tourist board to have a memorial on Reed's Way Walk. And we've got people to build him a seat, and we've got all the stuff in place in terms of like the behind the scenes crap that you need to go through. But making that happen during COVID has been difficult. And that's basically where we're at. So it's just a matter now of waiting, and once we're able to get each piece as it comes in, putting it in place. So that's where we're up to with that. But I can't wait for that, because honestly, there's a lot of people that I've met who were prospectors around that area and townspeople and whatnot that have all shared stories with me about him. And it's just, that dog had such a remarkable change on many people's lives right around the world. And I think that he, above most people I know, deserves a bit of recognition for that. And it's hard to quantify that for people. It's really, really difficult to quantify that for people, because I suppose for a lot of people he was just a dog, like, and their experiences with dogs weren't necessarily, they've been maybe limited or of a certain color, like viewed a certain way, their interactions. And it's hard to get across that, like, I get emails. I'll go on a rant for a little bit, if you'll permit me. My channel's had such a focus on PTSD awareness and suicide prevention, and now I've sort of started funneling that away from that and more into development stuff. So instead of saying, hey, it's okay to recognize that you have PTSD or depression or anxiety, and hey, you should get that dealt with, I'm focusing it more on this is how you should deal with it. And that's the direction I want to take it. It's interesting to note that the algorithms on YouTube and Facebook are so sophisticated that they can literally pick that kind of content up and put it in front of people who need to see it. So that's how algorithms work, right? So we, as creators behind the scenes, we gear everything we can to making sure that the algorithm puts it in front of our demographic. We have limited influence over that because the algorithm's much smarter than us. It knows, like, it's been proven to predict when people are pregnant before they know they are pregnant by sending them, but just based off their search habits, right? So they'll search stuff and the algorithm basically goes, hey, people who are pregnant, search this stuff, we'll put pregnancy stuff in front of them. And they don't know, and then they find out, right? So there's documented cases of that, and there's documented cases of heaps of other stuff. So when it comes to suicide awareness and prevention, I've had emails. When I was over in Canada with Paulie, I had an email from a gentleman who was literally in his shed tying a noose. And he said that he had YouTube open, just playing random videos as like background noise, and my suicide video came on, the one that I talked about everything I went through and whatnot, and that played because the algorithm knew he was depressed, right? He's never been into gold prospecting. He doesn't do outdoors crap. Like, it's not within his realm of normal search terms, but the algorithm knew enough about my video and him to put that in front of him. All of that started because of Grizzly. All of it started because of him, because I wouldn't be talking to you right now without him. And he was the inspiration for doing a lot of the stuff that I ended up doing that started this channel, like hiking and ultralight hiking and camping. And because I had to walk him, and I was living in El Dorado, so I walked him in the bush. And when I walked him in the bush, it'd take me to places because I just follow him, right? And so, like, his curiosity took me back into the bush. It saved my life. There's just, like, it's so complex, that spider web. All I know is that at the end of the day, the reason that guy didn't finish tying his noose and hang himself is because my video played. And that's because of Grizzly. And that's one of the stories. Like, I've got dozens of emails that are exactly the same, like literally dozens. And it's something I'm very proud of, but it's also something that is a very heavy sort of burden to carry, because you don't know when these emails are going to show up, and they're quite heavy. Like they're really heavy. Yeah. So I can probably talk for hours about that, but
That's all right.
yeah.
Steve said the Opal Munters are keen to donate to the Grizzly Memorial, Chris.
Oh yeah, I'm up for that. I'm down. I think he's got one opal. I believe we got sent one from Lightning. I think it was Lightning Ridge. I'm pretty sure it was Lightning Ridge. But yeah, he's got one, so I'm not going to say no to another to put in his collection. We've got them at the moment. They're in storage just because of how many we got. So the rocks and whatnot are going to get turned into a garden, but that's got to come when we actually have a house that isn't rented. And then, we want to do a memorial seat that people can go and visit and whatnot, and just spend a bit of time out in the bush where he grew up as a puppy.
Yeah. JP. So JP's in America. I talked about him before. He does JP's bar. So they actually all sit around he makes a bar on YouTube, and they all do StreamYard, and there's like 10 of them. I normally go into the bar and have a drink with them too on their live.
Like that. That's bloody clever, that is. That's good.
Yep. They said it's awesome because we can all have a drink together and have a yarn, and then none of us have to drive home. So it's every Sunday morning live show in Australia, but it's Saturday night live for them.
Yeah. And the drinks are cheaper, right? Like you don't have to pay $10 for Jack Daniels.
That's right. We can have it as many shots as we want. But they don't call it shots. They call it charts.
Charts?
Charts. It's a sort of an inside joke. So if you talk about they all have moderators, and the best moderator in the world is Mr. Lodak, and he loves these charts about the stock market. So he always brings up the charts on the stock market. So instead of saying shots, they say charts, and they have a drink.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I can work with that. Charts. Good stock option.
So JP said 30 pans is hard. Benzo and I are both going to try we're going to try the 100-pan challenge.
Do it.
So they're going to try it too now.
I want to see. I couldn't believe no one took me up on it. No one. I challenged everyone, and no one took. They mustn't watch my videos. Those bastards.
Maybe you got to tag them in it. I actually haven't seen that video.
I don't know. To be honest, YouTube has been an absolute royal prick when it comes to distributing videos. Like really bad. It's so bad. So Facebook, people on YouTube generally come up to me and they're like, "Oh, I can't believe you use Facebook. You're a communist," and all sorts of stuff. And they go on a big rant, and then I'm like, "Well, you know why I use Facebook is because when I had the same amount of subscribers on both Facebook and YouTube, I could put a video up on YouTube and put a video up on Facebook. YouTube wouldn't even deliver notifications to people who had the bell icon on and with all notifications set and had been subscribed years. They wouldn't even give them a notification, and the video would get like 15,000 views. And you'd be like, cool, but I have 70,000 subscribers, right? So the distribution should be higher. Meanwhile, on Facebook, that same video gets 500,000. It's like, because it gets distributed properly, because the keywords and the tags and stuff take the video where it's meant to. And recently, YouTube has been brutal, like really brutal. You would upload a video that would normally get like 40 or 50,000 views and a really high distribution count within your subscriber base. And I'm looking at the analytics, and no subscribers are getting notifications. None of them, because we can see that on the back end. No one's getting notified. YouTube has gone down for some reason. It's just like, okay, so I'm just focusing on Facebook. That's because I want to reach as many people as I can reach. It's not only my job, but what I explained before. I feel like the information I'm sharing is relevant in a lot of my videos and my posts. And if I'm not getting the reach on YouTube and they're not supporting their creators like they do on Facebook, then I'm going to use Facebook.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. Like, I won't get every single notification for your YouTube videos. I will get some, but they don't give them all to me.
Yeah, Yeah.
Because I'll see
but
like,
it's
oh,
not just,
Chris posted, huh?
I know it's not just mine, because like I talked to Levi and Paulie and Dan and Shane, and we're all going through the same thing. Every single one of us has got the same exact distribution problem. And even people outside of the gold prospecting community that I talk to have the same issue. So there's something fundamentally going on behind the scenes at YouTube. It's not just like one particular channel.
Yeah. No, it's a lot of them. Also, when I was talking to the guys from America, from Flash in Japan, I was talking to Ed, and he was saying that and they noticed that you'd be subscribed to somebody, and then you wouldn't get their notifications, and when you went to search their YouTube channel, you were
You'd be unsubscribed.
unsubscribed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were
That's
unsubscribed from
happened
their
to me.
YouTube channel.
I unsubscribed to Clash 3 times. I had to
Yeah.
go back and resubscribe. I have no idea why. Anyway. Well, and like I said, Facebook has been really good at fostering their creators. I got a phone call from Facebook last week talking about the channel and what I've been doing on it, and they were saying that Facebook is throwing something like $1 billion over, I can't remember how long I said, but over a set period of time to foster creators, to foster content creators that they feel fit within their values and whatnot. You don't hear stuff like that from YouTube. YouTube's so clinical in the way that they deliver their content, and it's hard as a creator to stay inspired when you keep getting hit by brick walls from the platform that you're uploading to.
Yeah. Yeah, it's same with like, okay, so I've got a couple of videos at the moment that actually have saying, oh, you've all to do with copyright on the music. But I paid for the app that I use to make, because I do it all on my mobile phone. Yep. I paid for the app that I use to make my YouTube videos. It has music inside that app, and I can use that for YouTube. But now all of a sudden I've got people putting copyrights on the music on my.
I get that. Every week, I know exactly what you're talking about. So for those of you watching who are wanting to get into YouTube or don't know about it, there's a really sneaky backdoor way that you can steal content creators' income. And what they do, these scammers, they take a song and I'll start from the beginning. YouTube has a free music library that you can use any song in there, and you can monetize your video, and it's unencumbered. They take that song, and they butcher part of it. So they'll go in there, and the last 30 seconds at the end, they'll just go la 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 la, and then they upload that to a music database, so like Sony Music, right? They register that as their original content. So it's free music. They've then modified a section of it. Then they upload it to something like Sony Music, and they say, this is my original thing and I want it copyrighted. Then what they can do is come back to your channel that used that free song, and because only a part of that song at the end is butchered, they can say, that song's mine, I'm claiming your ad revenue from it. Then you have to dispute it. So every week I dispute probably 3 or 4 of these claims, because it'll be someone like, literally the one I disputed yesterday was, I'm celebrating 10,000 subscribers, is what they had registered that song as, even though that song came from the YouTube music library. So I know it's fake, but YouTube sides with the person who supposedly holds the content license, so the song license. It's not up to them to prove that you actually used a song that is encumbered. It's up to you to prove that you didn't, or that it is unencumbered. And the problem I had was that the song that I used was from my editing app. And it's really hard to say. I can say what song it is, but I have to explain that it's a licensing thing and it's within the app and all that sort of stuff. And they don't necessarily give you your monetization back. And the problem is they've done it on a video that's got 150,000 views on it. So like, they're making money off me right now, and it's not a legitimate claim. It's stuck. But the problem with Facebook, it's the opposite. They give their content creators everything they need to deal with that sort of situation. You can literally talk to a person at Facebook to deal with that. It's just, yeah, it's horrible. It's so broken, that system.
There was one person as well got their video. It was actually their video like this. Yeah. And they were talking and weren't talking, they were doing something. And what had happened is somebody had made, have you seen those people that take like 50 million funny videos of other people's content and then they turn it into this one video?
Yeah.
That's nothing of it's theirs. And they tried to say, look, that's me. But what the person does is they take their video, they mirror it around so that the software can't pick it up and say that it's, because they can go, oh, that's mine, but that's not you. That's waving with your left hand, not your right hand. So therefore, that's not your video. Our computer software didn't pick it up because the image was flipped.
Yeah. I have one now that's using my videos on TikTok. They get the video and they put at the very start, they put just something of theirs, like some bullshit, and then they put my entire video and then some more bullshit at the end, and they claim it as their own. And just it's constant. You're just constantly fighting these people for stealing your content, like nonstop. It's really hard to describe how difficult. This is the thing, like, I can't say that this isn't a dream job. Like, doing YouTube and social media and gold prospecting and whatnot as your full-time work is great, but it is brutal because there's not the same sort of safety barriers that you would get with a traditional job. You know, this thing teaches on the idea that there are checks and balances put in place, and that those checks and balances are fair, and they side with the person who's right. But on YouTube, at very least, it doesn't seem to be that way. It's quite difficult. It's very, very difficult to prove your innocence and worth when it comes to claims on your content. And it's hard too when you put in the hours. Like, you're talking, I put up a video and I might get 100,000 views, but you're putting in 4 days of work. It's like a whole day, well, probably more, because like there's at least a day of prospecting, there's a day of filming, there's at least 1 day of editing, at least. And then you're probably putting in another 4 or 5 hours in the back end, which is like doing all your distribution and thumbnails and tiles and titles and all that sort of stuff. So for 4 days thereabouts to get one video done. And so that one video might get 100,000 views and it will generate you some income and whatnot. But then you've got to do that again and again and again. It's just a constant cycle, right? That's a lot of work for one video, 4 days. So it's got to pay, right? Because if you're going to work for 4 days and you're making $20 an hour or whatever it is, then you've made a set amount of money each day. I put 4 days work in the hope that I make up for the other 4 days that I didn't make anything off that video. Yeah. And so then someone comes along and takes it. They're like, no, that's my song.
Aquachiga's going through the same thing as well. But there was, like, really, if you've got a video where the music in it, you uploaded, like one of my videos, I uploaded that video specifically 2 years ago. And they're only just hitting me now with the copyright claim of, that's my song now.
Yeah. I'm the same. The video that got claimed last week is 2 years old. It's probably a little, maybe even a little less, maybe a year and a half, 2 years, but it's not recent. And yeah, it's frustrating, but there's nothing you can do other than go through their process, unfortunately. I usually, if they get to that stage, I'll just delete the video and re-upload it, because it's like, I'm not letting them make money off me when I know it's false. Like, it's not, you don't win. You don't get that.
Yeah, that's right. I can't do anything about mine at the moment, because mine, every time I try and do something about it, it actually says, please go and use a computer. So my copyright claims that I have on mine at the moment just have to sit there for now, because there's nothing I can do from them, because I don't own a computer.
Yeah.
They won't let you do it from a mobile phone. Did you find the comment bar?
I was just reading a comment. Andrew Couples asked a good one, which is, my son is really good at playing guitar. If I use his strumming in a future video, how do I protect that? So you want to protect his music, right? Which is, you've got to just get online and Google music copyright protection, and there'll be a heap of companies that you can register that music with. So if he has tracks recorded, you just upload those tracks to these sites. Sometimes they ask you for a small fee, like a couple of dollars. And therefore, it's there from there on out. It is protected, which means that if the algorithms automatically pick up his music in someone's video and you haven't given permission to use it, you'll get notified, and they'll take the revenue off the video that it's being used and give it to you. So yeah, there's that.
It's all very big pain in the butt. Can you watermark? What? I can answer this one, but so we can both answer this one. Can you watermark a video like you can a photo?
Yeah.
But
so
look up in the corner above Chris's head. That's not the problem though. But yeah, see above Chris's head that says StreamYard right there. That's StreamYard's watermark. But if I actually paid for this, and there it is, you got the duck right there. In my YouTube videos on, God, freaking hell, that side, right in the middle. That's the wrong side. Right in the middle there on my videos, about there, I actually have the Nikki's Prospecting logo symbol, and that sits there in every video.
Yeah, and I'm the same. Mine's in the bottom right, so it's there permanently. It doesn't make any difference which video you watch. It's in the bottom right. But that's not the problem. Is because people can still download it. They still know it's not the other person's content, but that doesn't matter, because what they're doing is they're racking up views off the back of your work and getting paid for it, and you have no recourse of getting that back. And that's the trouble. So like a lot of my videos are on Russian sites, I found. Like heaps of them, some with millions of views and whatnot. It is what it is. You've got to make the best of it that you can with the tools that you have, and just protect the parts that are really important.
Yeah. Copyright music. Oh, that's Maddie Hahn. I'm glad that my crappy video has crappy music too. Is it? Can you watermark audio as well? Watermark an audio track as well.
Uh-oh.
What?
Uh-oh. What have I done?
You froze.
What have I done?
You've frozen.
Ah.
Oh, you've gone out, so we can still hear you.
God, that's not good. Hang on.
You did what I did before. Oh, I never fixed this. Oh, he's gone. He buggered it. He pushed a button. Yeah, my ears were bleeding too. That's why I put the microphone thing in to see if I could fix it. Hopefully, if he remembers, he should be able to jump back in.
Yeah. It's a night for it. It's just a night for it. Whatever.
I tell you what.
That noise was terrible. That was horrible. That was just not. I don't know what happened then. That was just. I hit a button. We don't hit that button for reasons.
No, don't hit that button.
Yeah, don't hit that button. That was shocking. Holy crap. Oh man. Yeah. We've probably got heaps of questions now, eh?
Hey?
We've probably got heaps of questions now. I'm just scrolling through and reading some of them.
YouTube. Blake said YouTube heard you talking about them and they cut you off, bro.
Yeah, that'd be about bloody right. That would be. I wouldn't be overly surprised about that.
I can hear my feedback.
I can't, so that's okay.
I can hear my double voice.
Yeah. On that though, I'm probably going to have to actually go because my throat is got to crap at the moment.
Yeah. So on that note, we will end the live.
2 months after influenza, and my throat has still not healed, and I can only do about an hour before it just completely cuts. So yeah. On that, we did it though, Nikki. We did it. We managed to get through 2 Facebook stuff ups. You leaving this stream, the host left the actual stream, then I buggered off. It's a miracle we got through this. It's an absolute miracle.
It was a good night, though.
It was good. We should do it again sometime. It'll be fun. I'm going to download StreamYard and learn how to use it because that is cool. I like it. I like it a lot.
Well, if you give me 2 seconds, I can actually add up to 6 guests.
Yeah, come on. I'll stick around. So invite someone in. But I want to see a brawl in the comments. Like, let's be honest.
I'll try not to talk too much. I can hear myself, but I'll put the link in the thing now. And we'll click on it and you can add yourself.
Okay. All right, I'm down. Who are we going to get? This is going to be like chat roulette. It's going to be like... It's going to be a surprise. I'm going to go get a drink of water.
You do that. Click the link if you want to join us. We'll see who comes on. Can you hear my double voice?
Nope.
So it's just me.
It's just you. Yeah.
Radio. Come on, Neil. Join us. But I'm nude like normal.
Yeah,
who's going to jump in?
You got to be brave. Only naked people. That's it. It's the only people coming in. If you're wearing a shirt or pants.
Okay, they can hear my double voice. Talk now.
Talk now. No, maybe. Turn your volume on your phone, and you might be able to get rid of it. Oi! Hey, Blake! What's going on?
What's going on, everyone?
Not much, man. Not much. Been a long time.
It has. Been way.
Oh, yeah. The video I uploaded on Facebook this afternoon, where I found that wallet, it was exactly where I took you down underneath that bridge.
Oh, I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, you have to go have a look. I don't think we found much gold then either, but it seems to be a shitty spot for gold, but a great spot for lost stuff.
Yeah, no, mate, we've been come down there for a while. Everyone else, we got
Yeah, what can you do, right? Like every time I go to do anything, they lock Melbourne down. I've seen my dad once in a year and a half. Like, what can you do?
It's been an absolute nightmare.
Chris, you got headphones. No. They said Chris's microphone is sending feedback to you.
My microphone. Fuck my microphone. Fuck it. Hang on.
Headphones. Oh, it's Kev.
What up?
Hello.
Wow, we've got some echoes happening now.
I have not had echo like this in StreamYard before.
Wow, that's
When Chris plugs these headphones in, it should go away.
I got no headphones.
Oh, hang on, I do.
It'll be Chris's.
There is no guarantee. I got to do my settings.
pretty bad.
Oh, it is. So
Well,
that didn't work.
Who's talking?
There's a lot of echoes and scratches going on.
All right. So since I joined in, it's been scratchy. I'll jump out and say Chris, say Nicky.
The only ones I've got in my head.
Oh, two dogs off.
Problem the last time.
There you go.
Correct.
Oh, now it's come up to me on the screen.
That's no good.
Yeah. All right.
Catch up.
Alrighty, so yeah, Chris. Oh, he's gone. All right. Are you still normal on there? Can you hear me?
They're all gone.
Okay, so now Chris jumps out and now the reverberation's gone. All right, well, we'll leave it there.
Yours has gone all pixelated. Yeah, all good.
Okay. We'll leave it there. Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you all next Tuesday night live. Have a good one. Right.